Welcome to the Empty Nest Kitchen, where we're finding fun in the kitchen now that the kids have flown the coop. I'm Christine Van Bloom, a cooking teacher with over 25 years of experience, here to show you tips, tricks, and joy in your kitchen, all while trying something new. Let's get cooking. Well, happy summer. I am so thrilled to be back. This summer, I have a fantastic series that's going to change the way you're cooking. I'm calling it Small Bites, and each week I'm going to have a little shorty episode for you that includes 15 minutes or less, focusing in on a single ingredient or technique here to make your summer better. So we've got to naturally start at the beginning, right? And talk about summer tomatoes. And we want to talk about how to choose, use, and store them because they're just little things we want to do to make sure that our tomatoes are showing off the best they can. Now, here in the Mid-Atlantic, I'm in Maryland, we just pulled our first two early girls off the vine, which I'm so thrilled about. And I asked my husband, do you think you pulled them a little early? He said, no, I beat the squirrel. I thought that was awesome because we have fat squirrels hanging out in our backyard, and they love to go and take one bite of everything that we have. So he beat the squirrels. They won't vine ripen. They'll ripen on the windowsill. But when you're looking for a tomato, what are you looking for? Can you just trust that it's the summer and they're good? Well, you can to a point. But when you are choosing a tomato, whether you're at your grocery store or a farm stand, it doesn't matter. We want to pick a tomato that has really rich color, no matter what it is. And I'm a big fan of using all the funky heirloom tomatoes. I love the purple Cherokees. I love the sunrise that have the yellow and the orange. I love all sorts of neat, funky tomatoes. But they should not only have like a rich color for what they are, but they should feel heavy. Your tomatoes should feel laden, right? You don't want to pick up a light tomato and go, yeah, that's perfect. No. You want that sucker to be heavy because if it's heavy, it's juicy. It's going to be so good for you. So definitely want good bright color and a heavy for its size tomato. Trust me. And you can pick them all up. You can do that. You can give it a little gentle squeeze, but we're not trying to put our thumb through it, right? We want just that very gentle yield to it, the way you know an avocado is ripe. And if you can do that, perfect. You are in good shape. And when you get them home, where should they go? Always on the counter, never in the fridge. Fridge is going to give you mealy tomatoes, and those are no good, right? You've had that sandwich with a slice of tomato on it that's been in the fridge and it's all just kind of gross. Exactly. We are not messing around with this. So we want to keep those tomatoes out on the countertop. That's where they belong. Keep them away from the fridge, definitely the freezer. Unless you're cooking them, do what you do. But that's how we want to go. We want to make sure we're not putting a chill on them. We want them just to rest in all their meaty, juicy goodness waiting to be used. Now, how are you going to use them? Couple of ways, really simple. I do think, and I'll bet you'll agree here, I do think the goal of summer cooking is to keep it as simple as possible, right? Like just don't screw it up by trying to do too much to it. This is not where we're going to gild the lily, right? We want to keep it really, really easy. A lot of times I just want to chop up tomatoes and go with them that way. And I was never a tomato girl. Lots of daddy issues there because my dad would have my mom would do the plate of sliced tomatoes in the middle of the summer. And my dad would always go, Chrissy, there's nothing better than a ripe tomato. And I was always like, that is disgusting. Because I was a crazy picky eater. And also, if my dad forced me to eat it, I then would never want to eat it. Hello to the 70s and 80s. So I'm still not a tomato on a sandwich. Girl, can't do it. Maybe if it's caprese, I can do it, but it's just, I like them in chunks. And I think about it this way. I'll eat a salsa, right? Like you should be making a pico de gallo with with tomatoes and cilantro and maybe a jalapeno if you grow it or your nice neighbor does, little red onion if you've got it, easy breezy lemon squeezy, right? Put a little squeeze of lime juice, so limey squeezy on there, and salt, pepper. You are great, right? You're all set up. I also love, a typical bruschetta, always. It's so good. Fresh basil, fresh onion, red onion, whatever you want. Tomatoes, a little balsamic, a little salt and pepper. And let me tell you, when it comes to tomatoes in the summer, I am all about that crunchy salt, right? I'm all about the crunchy stuff. That is what I want. I want my Malden salt. And you can go back and listen. One of my first episodes is all about salt. It'll tell you everything you need to know. But treat yourself to a box of Malden salt, white box, green lettering. It's in the British aisle of your grocery store. Treat yourself to that. You will be really happy with it. But I love a simple bruschetta. I also love a panzanella. Now, if you know panzanella, you know it's basically a bread and tomato salad. And sometimes people are like, I don't like squishy bread. I don't like wet bread. And I totally respect that. So you don't have to have it be aggressively wet, right? Here's what I do. I will make a red wine vinaigrette, really simple. A little bit of Dijon, a little bit of red wine vinegar, whisk it together, some salt and pepper, and then some olive oil. Stream in that olive oil while you're whisking. It'll help it all stay together. Then I'll throw in tomatoes, maybe a little minced garlic, corn or basil that's in a chiffonade, which is when we stack up the leaves and then we slice them because you never want to chop basil. It makes it turn all black. It's kind of gross. So either tear it into big pieces, which I love because it looks kind of rustic and cool, or do that chiffonade. If you're feeling chefy, we call it a chiff. All right? Now, I throw that in and I let those tomatoes give up some of their juices. I also always throw in a cucumber. I hated cucumbers my whole life, and now I can't get enough of them. And I really like the hothouse cucumbers, the English cucumbers. They come in a plastic wrapping, and you always feel a little naughty when you're unwrapping it. I had to learn in classes, unwrap it before the class. Otherwise, it just gets giggles from everywhere. But I'll take half of one of those, or if I'm feeling feisty, the whole thing. But again, I'm trying to make only what I'm going to eat because I don't really want to put those tomatoes in the fridge. This is never going to be as good the second day if you've put it in the fridge. And we got to do the fridge for food safety stuff, right? So only as much as I'm going to eat, maybe half a cucumber in there. And then I grab some bread. Now, my big trick as an empty nester, I deserve good bread. I deserve good food. Just because I can't eat an entire loaf of bread. Well, I could. But just because I'm not going to eat an entire loaf of bread doesn't mean I shouldn't get the good stuff. I also don't want to waste it. So typically, I will either have them slice it at the bakery. I have a wonderful sourdough bakery here in town that's been open about 6 months. Holy bananas, their bread is incredible. But it's $12 for a load. I don't want to eat 3 slices and then have to chuck the thing. So I'll slice it or I'll have them slice it. If I slice it, I'll slice it into thicker pieces and put it into the freezer the same day that I buy it. I eat what I want and then it goes in the freezer. And then I've got that good, crusty, yummy bread ready for my tomatoes, right? So I take that bread, I will cube it, and then I'll toast it either in the air fryer or in the oven. Now, an air fryer is the secret summer weapon in my mind. And I am not an appliance freak, right, at all. I steer clear of lots of them. But I do love a pressure cooker and I do love an air fryer. An air fryer solely because It's tiny and it will not heat up your entire kitchen. I have a regular size oven. I heat that up to 400 degrees. I'm in a super old house. It is going to heat up the kitchen. It's going to heat up the dining room, all of those things. So I love to use my air fryer. And I think an air fryer, which doesn't fry at all, it's just a convection oven, right? But an air fryer is so good for an empty nester. I really cannot recommend one strongly enough. If you need a recommendation, let me know. You can just come to me through social media. On Facebook, I'm Empty Nest Kitchen, and on Instagram, I'm The Empty Nest Kitchen. But you can drop me a message or a comment, and I will get back to you with one I love because it's got racks in it, and holy cow, it's so good. I can make a whole dinner for two of us without heating up the whole kitchen, and I love that. So back to my panzanella. I've got that tomato salad mixture, right, going. And then I've got toasted bread cubes. I cubed that bread. I might have tossed it with a little olive oil. And then I throw those in right before serving. Now, this is not a salad you can save, right? Because that bread is going to absorb all of the liquid. So I like to, you can even serve the salad and then put the crouton-ish, right? We don't want them totally crunchy. I want them to still have a little give, but I'll toss that together. Really, really good stuff, okay? So you can see our vibe here is don't do too much. Now, speaking of doing too much, last night I may have taken some grape tomatoes I had and roasted them in the oven. I roast them until they burst at 400 degrees. I put a couple of garlic cloves in the paper on there. Nice glug of olive oil, salt, pepper, about 20-25 minutes. Threw those into a mini food processor, which is perfect again for your empty nesters because it all goes right in the dishwasher. I used a little pasta water. I made some pasta here. I squeezed the garlic cloves in, a little bit of pasta water to thin it out. Perfection. Perfection. And if you roast tomatoes, roast as many as you can. Store them in the fridge in some olive oil. They will be so yummy. They'll last you a couple of days. Add some fresh thyme if you're feeling Frenchy. Add some basil. Add whatever makes you feel good. But those make a whole bunch. And once they've cooked, you can pop them in the fridge. So, got tomato questions? Want to know what to do with your tomatoes? Or do you have a favorite way that you make tomatoes in the summer? I'd love it if you'd let me know. Now, tune back next week because every week till the end of summer, you're going to have a small bite just for you. All right? Until next time, I'll see you in the kitchen.